We'll start with the first game from last Saturday, the Bengals and the Titans. And Nathan, the Titans were the number one seed in the AFC, and everybody thought that they would win that game. They had Derrick Henry coming back off of his injury. He looked like he was going to be full strength. The Titans were playing at home. They had a week off to rest, but yet they struggled with the Bengals.
Yeah, I thought the same thing, too. I thought if Derrick Henry's back, I think the Titans are going to win. And he was, but I wonder I wonder if this was a regular season game, would he have played? You know, how far back was he really? Was he 100%?
Right.
They gave him the ball 20 times. And for being such a close game, especially an important close game like this, I would have thought they'd give him a little more carries. I don't know.
Right.
20 is not. I mean, it's a pretty good number of carries, but I don't know. It just seems a little strange.
Right.
But they did stop him. I mean, whether you want to say that the Bengals stopped him well or he was 100%, either way, he only had 62 yards and one touchdown.
Right.
His longest run was 9 yards.
Right.
Which is strange.
Right.
So I think that was one of the big factors in the game. But the biggest factor probably, which I think you would definitely agree with, was Tannehill, right?
Right.
Threw 3 interceptions. Maybe one of them, I don't remember each one, but there were one I think was tipped, right? Maybe not his fault. Or am I thinking of?
Yeah, maybe.
Maybe that was the Titans that got a tipped interception.
Yeah, they did. They got a tipped
Burrow.
interception, yeah.
I don't know, but I think you said something to the effect of if they would have had a quarterback like Burrow, they would have won that game.
I think so. You know, I mean, he threw an interception the first play of the game. You know, the Bengals deferred and kicked off to the Titans. First play, he throws a poor pass. I mean, for an NFL quarterback that's been around as long as he has, he never looked off his receiver, and the safety just came up from his too deep position and just stepped right in front of the pass. I mean, that's a mistake that a high school quarterback makes or a young quarterback. But you've got to look that guy off so that you hold the safety for a second or two and then throw the football. He didn't do that. He threw another interception later in the game into very tight coverage, which he really didn't have to throw that one, and it got intercepted. The third one I don't really remember, but it really doesn't matter. You know, you make a good point about Derrick Henry. You know, you would think looking at it and said, well, he only got 20 carries because they were behind, but they really weren't way behind.
Yeah.
You know, they could have run him a lot more than they did. The interesting thing is that Foreman, the other running back, number 7, ran it. He had about the same amount of yards as Henry did, but only in 4 carries.
He looked pretty good, really.
Yeah.
He really looked good.
They should have given him the ball a little bit more if, in fact, Henry was a little bit slowed.
Yeah, if that was the case. Yeah.
Right. I'm a little bit surprised that they threw it, Tannehill threw it 24 times, which is not a lot, but, you didn't really need to do that. They were never really behind more than 7 points.
It was. Let me look at the box score. The Bengals, it was 6-0 in the first quarter, Bengals.
Right.
And then at halftime, it was 9-6 Bengals.
Right.
And then the Titans scored 10 points in the third. Bengals scored 7.
So it was 19-16. Was it? No, I'm sorry. It was 16-16.
Yeah. And then the Bengals kicked the field goal in the fourth.
Right.
So, it was always within running range.
Right.
And then also I thought it was kind of interesting. Tannehill had 220 yards passing, 142 of them to A.J. Brown.
Right.
Kind of funny.
He was kind of their he's always been kind of their go-to guy, you know. I think the Titans, listen, I don't want to. Tannehill's a good guy, I'm sure. He's been around for about 10 years now. But you can't come away from that game without saying that had they had better quarterback play, they would have won that game.
I agree with that.
Yeah.
But I also think you could also say keep the quarterback play. If Derrick Henry performs as he's capable of performing, they win that game.
Right.
I think still.
Right.
But the quarterback play was a big thing. But my deal with and this has kind of always been, even like the past few years, they've been good, obviously, right?
Right.
But he's kind of always been a question mark a little bit, hasn't he, Tannehill?
He has.
He's played really well at times, and he's looked like he might be good enough to win a Super Bowl at times, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But at other times, he looks like they need to go in a different direction. So
right.
They probably need to go in a different direction.
Well, I think they do.
But then again, he's been the best quarterback they've had since probably
since
Steve McNair, right?
Yeah.
Really, because with Mariota, he's better than Mariota.
Right.
I can't think of all the other guys. I can't remember all the other
That's
guys.
pretty much it. Him. Well, they had that guy. I forget his name. They drafted that guy in 2014.
Oh yeah.
From Washington or something. I don't remember his name now. But,
I know who you're talking about.
yeah, but he was there for a while. They had Kerry Collins was their quarterback for a while back when they lost to the Ravens in 2012, I want to say. They were the first seed then. Kerry Collins was the quarterback. So they've had a few different. He was before the guy they drafted from Washington.
Yeah, and it started with the B, I think, right?
Yeah, I don't remember now. But
the Jaguars for a while too.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
But wouldn't you say Taylor's probably the best they've had since McNair?
Oh, I would say so.
So, I mean, I'm not saying they would find somebody better immediately, but they should at least consider drafting somebody this draft.
They're going to have to make some decisions. I mean, because if you look at the game, all right, the Titans had 140 yards rushing. Okay, they had 220 yards passing. Their defense had 9 sacks on Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Okay, you look at the stats for the Bengals. Burrow had 340. Well, hold on a minute. He had 348 yards passing. They only ran the ball for 65 yards, the Bengals. So they pretty well shut down the Bengals' running game. They sacked him 9 times, and they lost the game. I mean, now, looking at it from the Bengals' perspective, you got to give them credit. I mean, Joe Burrow, I think, elevated himself to a different level Saturday. I mean, to get sacked 9 times, he never threw the ball in harm's way. He took the sacks when he saw there was nothing there, and he bounced back and made a tremendous throw to Jamar Chase, to put the Bengals in position to kick that game-winning field goal.
9 sacks, 68 yards lost.
Yeah, yeah. I
like
mean,
you said, if you told somebody at the start of the game that the Titans were going to would sack Burrow 9 times, you probably thought, oh, they're going to win it.
That's exactly right.
But yeah, we've talked a lot about the Titans, but the Bengals, give them credit, like you said, they played really well. I mean,
they played exceptionally well.
Burrow is the man. I mean, I still don't think he's gonna beat the. Look, I think they very well could beat the Chiefs.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
I just don't know if, in essentially his rookie year,
Right.
I don't know if I see him in the Super Bowl. I mean, I feel like that's something you have to build up to. But then again, though, this is a great chance because the Chiefs aren't that good. But anyways, we'll stick to this game.
Yeah,
he looked really good. And I also heard something about apparently the kicker when he was a rookie, I think.
He's a rookie, yeah.
I guess after they got the ball where he wanted to, he's about to go out there. I think I heard he said something like, "Well, it looks like we're going to the AFC Championship game, boys."
That's what he said. Yeah, you gotta love that. I mean, you gotta love that confidence.
Funny.
And the guy's unbelievable. I mean, he kicked 4 field goals in this game. One was 54 yards. He kicked, I think, 3 in the game the week before when they beat the Raiders. I mean, he's been phenomenal. I mean, just phenomenal.
That's an important piece. I mean, it's overlooked maybe, but I think that's an important piece to have if you want to be a Super Bowl team, is to have a kicker that you can count on in any situation.
Correct. Because you're more than likely going to have to count on him when you get this deep in the playoffs.
I mean, look at the Patriots had that with Vinatieri all those years. They never had to worry about their kicker.
Never had to worry about their kicker. That's right.
Any weather, any situation.
And, so I think that game, probably most people thought it was a little bit weird. I think... I don't want to take anything away from the Bengals because they played a tremendous game, but I think had the Titans had better quarterback play with 9 sacks, 140 yards rushing, 224 yards passing, they would have won that football game.
Or you look at it another way too. How much better would the Bengals have played if they hadn't sacked him 9 times?
Well, that's right.
I mean, like they would have probably run away with it then.
That's exactly right.
More.
That's exactly right.